In this lesson, we're going to go over what EMFs are. So I'll give you a bit of a background as to what we mean by this term EMFs, what the different types are, and the common sources that we find within our homes. So as we've mentioned in the introduction, EMFs stand for electromagnetic fields, and they involve a range of things, from natural EMFs like sunlight and the Earth's magnetic fields, to artificial EMFs, which come from human sources. Natural EMFs are essential for life on Earth, but there's growing concern about the potential health risks associated with prolonged exposure to non-natural EMFs, and we are constantly surrounded by a ton of non-natural EMFs. So what we're focusing on in this module is what exists in this red band, and there are 4 different types of EMFs that we're going to be looking at throughout this module. And we're going to look at each one of them a little bit differently, and also work at cleaning them up a little bit differently. And throughout this module, I'll give you some really easy, usable tips that you can use to create a healthier EMF environment. So the first EMF we're going to look at is called electric fields. In simple terms, these are present in electrical wiring. So common sources include chargers and electrical appliances, extension cords, wiring, laptops, and electric fields can extend 6 to 8 feet from these sources. So if you're within that radius, your body is going to be sucking in some of this electricity, which adds a voltage onto our body, which tires us out. Not something we're really looking to have. It's also worth mentioning that electric fields persist even when an electrical device is switched off. So this phenomenon is similar to water remaining in a hose even after the tap is turned off. There's still pressure within those lines. And in most homes, we have wiring within our ceilings, floors, and walls that's not shielded, which contributes to our exposure to electric fields. The second type of EMFs are called magnetic fields, and these are generated wherever there's a flow of electrical current. So whenever something is plugged in and turned on, it generates magnetic fields as the current is flowing. It's not like electric fields, which can be present when things are turned off. And these can occur from a few different sources, which can include power lines, so these cables that transmit electricity across distances, faulty wiring within our home, our circuit breaker boxes, appliances, motors, anything with a fan, charging stations, solar panel inverters, all sources of magnetic fields. And magnetic fields are very harmful to biology, with research suggesting a link between exposure to high magnetic fields and increased risks of conditions like childhood leukemia and brain cancer. The third type of EMFs is dirty electricity. So in our homes, electricity is meant to go back and forth at a standard rate. However, some devices and gadgets we use require electricity to go back and forth a lot faster. For example, the standard rate is 50 or 60 hertz or times per second. But compact fluorescent bulbs can increase this to 20,000 times per second, and dimmer switches to around 120 times per second. So this change in speed creates something called dirty electricity, which can be quite harmful and cause issues like headaches and fatigue. And there are multiple different sources of dirty electricity in the home. Some can be easily avoided, and some are a little more difficult. So later on in this module, we'll explain some simple steps that you can use to reduce your exposure to this type of EMF. So some common sources would be dimmer switches, LED bulbs, compact fluorescent bulbs, energy efficient appliances, fans with multiple speeds, clocks, solar panel inverters, satellite boxes, even other people in your neighborhood's solar panels and their dirty electricity generating devices are going to be finding their way into your home as well. The final type of EMF is called radio frequency or wireless. So this is everything connecting with a wireless signal. So our Wi-Fi router, Bluetooth devices, computers, tablets, fitness trackers, baby monitors, everything with wireless is going to be pumping out these frequencies. And all of these wireless devices that we have, they are all emitting frequencies, connecting with each other, talking, sending information, and these frequencies are around us all the time. So the bad news is that they are around us all the time, but the good news is that there are some easy and simple ways that we can use to clean these up. And I'll go over that later in the module too. In the next lesson, we're going to look at what some of the health effects are of EMFs.